So I see you, Jeffrey Holcomb. What's up? Oh, oh, oh. Come on, computer. Let's see. Let me do a test here. Test. Does that show up? There we go. Cool. All right. There we go. Welcome, everybody, to another live edition of Making You a Bartending Pro. My name's Jason. I feel like I'm kind of low. Let's see if I can. There we go. A little better. There we go. A little better. Sweet. So, like I said, welcome to another live edition of Make You Bartending Pro. I'm Jason, my man Shake here on the live stream. How are you all doing today? Happy Tuesday to you. And remember, there's no agenda with these. We will usually, it's kind of bright in here. My hat's all washed out. Too much light. Turn it down, man. Turn down the lights, I say. No agenda on these. We, can talk about bartending. We usually do. We don't have to. And you ask questions, we answer. Just open format Q&A. So how was your week? How did everybody do? Anybody get a job? Anybody see anything crazy they want to talk about? Jeffrey Holcomb in the house. Chris Collins 85. Hi, I just started following you because I want to start bartending professionally. Up until now, I've just been a bartender for my family. Right on, Chris. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the channel. You are in the right place to learn how to do that. Hammer addiction for you. Do you know any common bartender interview questions that I should look out for? Yes, absolutely. I'll have Shake grab a link to those common little 4-part videos that I made a little while ago, that talk specifically about how to get a job. And that last one kind of goes into definitely about the whole last video in that is about the interview questions and the interview process and how to get ready for that. No, I'm too high. There we go. So yeah, I'm sure Shake's on it grabbing that. But basically, hammer addiction is you want to be aware of any sort of information about the restaurant or establishment or bar or whatever itself. So trying to know as much as you can about the establishment and the history of the place going in. So if there's a cool little story, close the deal. So there you go. That link that Shake just put up, hammer addiction, make sure you watch that. And you want to know as much as you can about the place that you're going into. So have a look at their menus, have a look at their website, see if there's like kind of a backstory to the whole place. Try to do as much research as you can about that. But any common bartender interview questions I should look out for? Watch that video, it talks about it. But it's kind of tough because each place is a little bit different. There's not like a standard set of questions that we go through as bar managers when they grill you for an interview. A lot of it is just try to get a feel for you as a person. So however that comes through, can be expressed differently by different manners. But watch that video that Shake just linked, and that will definitely help you a lot. Hammer addiction. Jeffrey Holcomb. I'm good. Thank you, sir. How are you? Colin Powell. Hello, everyone. How do you make a gin and tonic? Is that gin and tonic? Is that a typo, Jeffrey, of gin and tonic? Or is gin and tonic actually a drink name? Gin and tonic. Yeah. I think you're just gin and tonic. Which, if that's your question has the answer in it. Gin and tonic, my friend. Shake starts a new job tomorrow. Congratulations. Congratulations, Shake. It's not bartending, but it's new, so that's cool. Hey, upward and onwards, Bartending is always here for us. Once you've been a bartender, you can always come back. It's always a very useful skill set that always keep us alive, always keep you a job. Bartending is always in demand. Times are good, people are partying. Times are bad, people are drinking their sorrows away. either way, we always have a job as bartenders in that situation. So it's about as recession-proof of a job as you could ever find. Robin Gilbert, hello. Questions about how to get a job at a country club or catering wedding venue. It's the same process of getting a job anywhere else, Robin. You just need to try to figure out who makes the call on hiring people and go stick your hand in your face, shake their hand, introduce yourself, give them a resume, and then see if they're hiring. If they're not hiring, then after that, it just becomes a matter of following up on a consistent basis, enough so that they don't forget about you, but not so much that you annoy the shit out of anybody. Initially, I tell people when they're dropping resumes at a shop to follow up the first couple of weeks every week, and then cut it back to once every 2 or 3 weeks. In that kind of a situation, you could do it like maybe once a month. Just keep going in there. Dead Mouse Fanatic 1, welcome back. How do you feel about Native Americans? Wait, what? I still don't know how I got a bar job. How do I feel about Native Americans? I think they're just like any other person living in the world. And they happen to be native to America. So that's cool. I'm indifferent to all shapes and sizes, as should you be, sir. I would... Colin Powell, I'm working a festival this weekend, but I'm working security. Haven't had any bar-related shifts lately. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you got to pay your dues, Colin. Even when I was the lead bartender and had been in the bars for a long time, I would still, every once in a while, I was like, hey man, can you come in and like host or like bus or run food? Because somebody goes down and they're sick, or they don't have enough backup and somebody can't do it, so it happens. Pikuchi, I still give him the card. Gin filled with tonic water. Bam. That's right. Marcel Spencer. Have a big question. I'm starting my bartending job in September. How does cashing work? I'm not sure what you mean by cashing, Marcel. Do you cash after every drink? I'm not sure what you mean. Like you close it out? If someone is paying in cash, then yes, close it right then and there. After you give them the drink and they give you the money, you turn around and you put it in the drawer. You ring it in, if that's what you're talking about. Yeah, you don't do it after the fact, because that's just a huge opportunity for fraud and sketchy things to start happening. So, Deja, what's up, girl? Welcome to the show. Welcome back. So yeah, Marcel, I hope that answers the question. You can rephrase it if you're asking about something else. Chris Collins, 85, my sister has a catering company, and she has an event coming, and we're looking at about 800 people, but not everyone drinks. So how much booze do you bring, and pricing drinks explanations? So how much do you bring, and price drinks explanations are a little not quite completely clear on what you're asking about, other than how much booze you need. For something that size, Chris, I have no experience in that, my friend. So you're better off talking to your sister. I'm sure she has a system to figuring out, how many people are drinking, and trying to figure out how many people drink. It comes down to trying to figure out how many people you think would drink, what percentage of them. And then on average of those people that are going to drink, how many drinks they're going to have. And then you need to back into how many drinks you get out of whatever you're going to buy. If it's just bottles of beer, that's easy. 400 of those people are going to drink, and they're going to have 3 beers each. So we need 1,200 bottles of beer. All right. So with a bottle of booze, it gets a little more tricky. Depends on how you want to pour those. If you're doing 1 ounce pours, 2 ounce pours. So you got to do a little bit of math. And you just kind of got to get down on a napkin and do some math, Chris. And so I've talked to your sister about that. She sounds like if she owns a catering company, hopefully she knows how to do that. But yeah, it's kind of a hard blanket She only deals with food, and it's a club and a full bar. Yeah. So are you guys booked into a bar and the catering company is putting it on? Is the bar putting on the booze? Does she have to bring the booze? You know, she only deals with food, and it's a club and a full bar. So if it's a club and a full bar, they should have booze. So then are you buying it from them? Or are you bringing it into? This is an extremely unusual situation, so my ability to help you is going to be limited, my friend. But the more details you can give me, the more I can help you know what you're up against. So let's see here. Shake says, Marcel, it depends. You should generally ask if they want to start a tab on the first drink. Yes, and you can kind of keep a tab running, and then you can pay them cash at the end. But usually if you order a drink, they hand you cash, you ring it in right there. Dead Mouse Fanatic 1 says, speaking of Dead Mouse Fanatic, you got Dead Mouse playing right now. Although I will skip that song because I just have heard it too much. I'm Navajo, so it's definitely different here. Oh yeah, or are you like on a reservation or something, Dead Mouse Fanatic? I'm not sure. Chris Collin 85. Frustrating, he says. I'm sure that's a hell of a party to play in, my friend. Marcel Spencer, what's going to be the hardest thing to pick up on the job for a beginner? The biggest thing is just learning to relax, man, because people just get too in their head and freaked out about it. And so the biggest thing is just learn how to just talk to people like they're your friends. Don't try too hard. Just talk to them like they're your friends. You know, I always find it really weird when servers or bartenders have their like, hi, how can I help you? And it's like just way over the top. And which is cool, you know, some people kind of need that to protect themselves because they're too kind of shy or whatever. And so it's a good way to kind of get rolling. But after a while, you definitely want to just bring through your authentic self. So just being as chill as possible. So, welcome, Deja. Let's see. Cherokee here. Oh shit, I didn't know you, Cherokee. Nice, man. Chris Collin 85. She only did the food. Oh, we already got that. All about the cocktail. What's up, my friend? Let's see. It's a club, and yes, I have to supply the booze. All right. Well, you still got to do the same math. You got to figure out how many people you think are gonna drink, and then you got to figure out how many drinks you think they're gonna have of what type, and then you got to do the math of how you're gonna pour those drinks divided by, you know, let's say if you're getting 10 drinks out of a bottle, how many drinks do you need times that many bottles. And then if it's an actual bar, the good thing is that you should hopefully have access to their guns, so you don't have to buy like, you know, a bunch of liters of cola, you know, or juice or whatever your mixes are that you want to do, soda water and tonic and all that kind of stuff. Hopefully you can just use their guns, which would make your life a whole hell of a lot easier. Let's see here. Marcel Spencer, you are welcome for the feedback. Chris Collins, okay, we gotcha. Let's make a martini. Shake wants to make some martinis. Nice. Chris Collins 85. Basically, since I have to supply the booze, I'm definitely going to have beer, maybe 5 cocktails to serve, and maybe 10 shooters of, and of course, shots. Yeah, it's kind of just doing a little bit of a guesstimate math on all that stuff. This is my favorite part about the catering gigs that I do not have to supply anything but booze. Yeah, that's cool. And you just got to kind of figure out, you know, you got to, how many are drinking, how much are they going to drink, what are they going to drink, and then multiply it up, divide it by how many drinks you're going to get out of a bottle, and you should have your numbers. Sounds like a hell of a planning though. Sounds quite so cool. Marcel Spencer, I'm already freaked out. I really need this job, but thanks. I've been watching all your stuff, trying to learn what I can while I can. Yeah, Marcel, don't worry about it. It's easy stuff, man. People love to way overcomplicate this job. This is one of the easiest jobs in the world, without a doubt. And you realize that once you get into it. I mean, I'm a huge slacker. I did this forever. Nah, I don't know if I would consider myself a slacker. I would just say I don't like to work harder than I have to, so this job is great for that. You can have fun, and you kind of, it sets the pace. When it's mellow, you're mellow. When it's busy, you're flying, which is good because you're making money and it goes really fast. And it's just social. You're around people and you're talking to people. I think the hardest thing for a beginner is if you're not a social person and you're thrown into this hyper social environment. So you just got to learn to, like I said, roll with it, talk to everybody. The normal kind of oddities and rapport building stuff that you have to have with somebody when you just meet them to kind of get to a conversational level sort of goes out the window. Like as a bartender, you're just allowed to start conversing with someone as if you've known them forever. So I'd say just work on not being freaked out about the whole thing. Really, that's gonna be the hardest thing for you, Marcel. Yeah. So, did you say you have an interview coming up? No, you're just asking about caching, going back and forth here and up and down and up and down. All right. Okay, cool. So where are we? Thanks for the feedback. What's the standard? Okay. Dukin Daisy 1 Duke. What's the standard mixed drink package for a bar? I'm not sure what you mean by mixed drink package. Drinking doozy. Do you mean like what's the standard mixed drink at a bar? Not quite sure what you mean. Are you asking what are the most common drinks? We don't have any packages, drink packages. I don't know if I'm gonna rephrase that question and I'll try to get to it for you. Cool. Deadmau5 Fanatic, I just got a barback job on the Vegas Strip. Nice! Congrats, Deadmau5 Fanatic. That's killer, man. You should be doing good money over there. Probably see a lot of debaucherous shit go down in that gig. Congrats, my friend. That'll be cool. Should make some pretty good money too. Marcel's, I'm already freaked out. Really need things. Okay, so I want to get your quote here. I'm already freaked out. I really need this job, but thanks. I've been watching all of your stuff, trying to learn what I can while I can. One of the things you need to know is not to get freaked out, because a lot of people get freaked out about the drinks and this, that, and another thing, and it's like, don't worry about the damn drinks. The biggest thing you can do is work on your people skills, because the drink stuff is super simple, and the jobs that you're going to start in as a bartender when you're brand new are generally real basic, and you're not going to be making a bunch of crazy whiz-bang drinks. You might, but it's probably going to be pretty slow, pretty mellow, and so you're going to want to work on stuff like getting to know people and conversing with them and building your local following so that you can, stabilize your income by building a following. That's going to be way more advantageous to learn and work on than, worrying about mundane stuff like. And back to your original question about like cashing drinks or closing out tabs and all that kind of shit, it's different at every bar you work at. So that type of stuff you're gonna get trained on. Even me, who's done this for 15 plus years, if I go to a new bar tomorrow, I have to get trained. How do they do tabs? How do they split the tips? How do they close tabs out and split tips at the end of the night? Or, how do you close and clean and set up and stock? all that shit you have to get trained on because every bar is different. So it's more advantageous for you to understand that you fit within a larger business and how you can benefit that business that's going to be interesting to an owner or a manager. So that if you can demonstrate that you understand, it's like the whole point of my job is to bring people, you know, facilitate a good time so they're having a good time and they want to come back. Because then if they come back more often, then we're creating value for the company, for the restaurant, for the bar. This whole thing is not about us. This is about us being a part of a larger business. And so if you can understand that picture, then you can articulate that. And people don't ever say that shit in an interview. So that is definitely something I've ever had anybody go into. You know, when I leave you know, maybe if you're at the end, they'll generally, it's like, okay, is there anything else that, you know, if you feel like you get to the interview and they give you the open-ended, it's like, well, is there anything else you want to tell us about? And that's where you can kind of go into that. It's like, look, I understand that this job is more than just being a bartender. That's about creating these unique experiences so that people want to come back. And that way we can create repeat business, which is good for the establishment. And that's really going to be my goal, is trying to get to know the people and really be an asset to the company. Make it about the company, the restaurant, the bar. It's not about us. It's about them. So, and don't be freaked out because there's 1,000,005 bartending jobs. And of course, the one that's running your doorstep is the most urgent. And you feel like if you don't get it, you're going to die. But you booked an interview, so that's good. It means you know, you've done enough right to get to that point. So you'll get another shot even if you don't get the job. So don't worry about it. All about the cocktail, plugging the channel. Get on you, man. Chris Collins 85. This is my favorite part about this catering gig, is I do not have to supply anything but the booze. Yeah, that's cool. Oh shit, a bunch of these just popped in here. Where'd we go? There's a nice little link to starting bartending in 48 hours. That has a lot to do with getting catering stuff going or private party bartending on your own, and how you can just go from 0 to getting gigs in the first weekend if you really want to. Want the link. Shameless self-promotion. I like it. Marcel Spencer, what kind of liquor should always be in my well if I have a well to keep them coming in? Wait. What kind of liquor should always be in my well if I have a well to keep them in? You should have as broad a selection as you can fit and or afford, right? And you need the main ones like vodka, gin, rum, tequila, whiskey, bourbons, whatever. And then some staple, some scotch, you get a couple of staple liqueurs, a couple of staple mixers. Yeah. But you seem to be worried about a lot of kind of sporadic stuff here that I don't know if they would ask you about this stuff, Marcel. Go through and watch that four-part series about how to get a job with no experience that Shake linked earlier, and watch the whole how to get a job playlist, because that's where you're going to get the most benefit, because I feel like you're kind of worried about stuff that you shouldn't be worried about, and just get kind of focused on the stuff that matters the most. Turn Snocko, what up? I did take down those hackers. Actually, I don't really know what the fuck happened, but they let me back in. So it wasn't actually the one. So I have like a personal email, that the email that this channel is tied to. That's my personal email that got hacked. And they, I had a nothing channel that had, it was like family ski videos and school projects. So there was like nothing on there. But something super outlandish happened, and it they deleted that channel, and it's gone, and locked me out of all my Google accounts because of that. So I don't know, somebody hacked me and was posting some outlandish shit. So if anybody saw anything from my personal channel that I don't use for anything, then it was super offensive. I do apologize. Shake says, yep, whiskey, tequila, vodka, any other popular alcohol. As far as the brands, just depends on the owner of the bar or manager, for sure. Chris Collins says, this will be my first time doing any kind of gig for more than 100 people, so I'm a little nervous. The most I've ever done is fight maybe 100. Yeah, you'll be all right though. It's the same thing, Chris. It's just scaling up. And if this is your guys' stuff and you're bringing the booze, when in doubt, just buy a little bit more, because it sounds like if you and your sister do this, then, you know, worst case scenario, you buy too much and then you have stock for the next party. So, all good. Not really Hillary Duff. What's up? Let's see. Duke and Daisy, one Duke, common drinks. Oh no, I forgot what your original question was up here. Standard mixed drink package for a bar. Oh, okay, so like the menu. It just depends, right? So your standard, there is no standard. It depends on where you work. It depends on the type of bar you work at, which I know is like a terrible non-answer to your question. There are a couple of just basics that you should, most bartenders will know at some point. So let me grab that most common drink list. Now this is super common stuff, but you could also start working at a bar tomorrow and not make any of these. So it really just depends on where you're at. But you know, if you bartend for any amount of time, then you're gonna want to know how to make all these. So check those out, start there. But really just work on understanding your job in a business. Don't worry about the drinks. Don't worry about the cocktails, because you can spend hundreds of hours memorizing a bunch of drinks and then you'll never, maybe potentially ever make them. So I would say try to focus on the types of bars that you, or the types of bars that you think you're gonna go apply at, the types of bars that you wanna work at, and be realistic. If this is your first gig, you're not gonna be getting hired most likely at the Bangin' Club downtown. So you need to try to figure out the type of bars you think you're gonna go apply out, and then you can kind of look at their menu, see if there's a commonality, certain style of drinks that are popular in those types of establishments. 15 most common drinks, so there's a link there as well. You can check that out. It's basically going to be that same list, and it talks about what I just said in that video, so you can check that out. Yeah. Row, fight the power. Nice. Let's see. Okay, where are we? Glassware, that's a great video. Make sure you guys check that out. A lot of the like bartending 101, any of that stuff in that playlist, you guys should look into my playlist. So I have them organized by stuff. The bartending 101 is a great one. Start with the bartending 101, the working bartender, and then go to the drinks last. Don't worry about that stuff until later, until you start to figure out the kind of where you think you're gonna end up. It's all about cocktail. Oh, your locals and their favorites. Absolutely. Not really Hillary Duff. What up, girl? I love making Bloody Marys. Nice. What's the magic ingredient in your delicious Bloody Marys? Not really Hillary Duff. The Old Manhattan. There's a good one. Colin Powell. My goal is to work in the music scene at live shows. How can I market myself as a rock and roll bartender? I already go to as many punk shows, rock, as I can. It's not, bartenders don't really market themselves as specialists in venues. It's more about being well-rounded and experienced, and then getting to know the guy that can give you a job in the type of place that you want to work at. So instead of like trying to brand yourself as this like certain style of bartender, you're better off trying to figure out who's the dude that can give you a shot and give you a job, and befriend him or the management or the owners at that establishment, and start in a position below if needed, if something comes up. Because once you're in there, and then it's just a matter of time before you get a shot if you show your competence and your value and that you know your stuff and you want to get in there. So I wouldn't really worry too much about trying to create this persona. It doesn't mean that can't be a thing. I just haven't really seen it in the world that I worked in. But I mean, really, it's just a style. That's more like a style thing. So if you want to emulate that in your personal style and what you look like, that's probably going to be the best way to go. But do it authentically, because if it's not real, it'll show right through, for sure. Because definitely working in this industry, you get really good at reading people. So I can always, you know, look at someone and make a call as to just with their body language and how they're rocking something. It's like, I don't know if that's their usual get up, or maybe they're just nervous. But yeah, I'd say like work on focusing on creating relationships with the people that can give you a shot is way more important. Volcus, hello all. Hello, welcome. Punk rock shows, yeah, gotcha. Marcel Spencer, is management at the bar supposed to provide me with the tools, or am I on my own with that one in a bar and a restaurant? No, they'll have everything. You don't need to bring shit. I mean, right, depends. Some places, who knows, you could go to places like you need to bring your own bar tools, but that would be really weird. I've never heard of that. Usually you show up, you clock in, and that shit's all right there. Again, that's all stuff that if you get hired, they'll show you. And even if you did have to bring all that stuff, that's extremely unusual. And so they would either tell you in the interview when you got hired, or after the fact when you're getting trained, it's like, by the way, you need to get all your own shit. But I wouldn't worry about that. That's not something that happens. Bloody Marys are the second messiest part of brunch, first being the brunch skunks. Nice. Bob's Burgers references. Gotcha. Nice. Thank you, Turnt. Keeping it real with a good reference to the good stuff. Not really Hillary Duff. I don't really have the magic ingredients, the perfect amount of ingredients that really make it. I see. Keeping the secret recipes to yourself. I get it. No, I'm just kidding. Chris Collins, 85. What brand of ginger beer do you recommend for the Moscow Mule? Whatever one's on sale when I go buy it. No, really. Gosling's is really good, but really it's just like, you know, there's certain ones. I would say buy a couple and try them and see what you like, Chris. For your gig, if you're buying for 800 damn people or whatever the best deal that you can get, because out of a mass thing like that, I'm sure it would just be like whatever, you know. 800 people, that's a huge fucking party, so I'm sure they're not trying to nitpick you on handcrafted stuff. What kind of ginger beer is in this Moscow Mule? Because I only drink so-and-so ginger beer. So Kroger's brand, Shake says Kroger's. It's nice strong ginger flavor. Yeah, I would say buy a couple in the price point range that you're looking at and test them out. And I agree with Shake that you want one that's more gingery than sweet, because if it's too sweet, then it just kind of tastes like soda. Just your generic, it'll taste like Sprite almost. So, not really. Hilly Duff says, really magic. Oh, Mana Beach. Yes, Chris Krabbies. That's true. Bella Queen, hello. How are you? Oh, no, just kidding. She's out of here. I will try it. Normally use Reed's Extra. Yeah, I mean, it also kind of depends on where you're at in the country, because regionally, I don't know how many. I'm sure I know there's a couple, but there's probably more regional selection than nationwide. Q is good too. Says like Bundaberg, that one's good. Although I've heard people say Bundaberg's a little bit sweet, so it's just, you know, personal preference. Get a couple. Chris Collins, try them out. You're very welcome. Shake likes the Kroger's. I want a cocktail. Going to do a ginger beer comparison video soon. Nice. Q is good too. Or Fever Tree. So there you go. Ginger beers. Deliciousness. Cool. All right. Oh man, it's already 7:42. So remember to follow on all the social media stuff at Bartending Pro on the YouTubes and the Instagrams. We're technically on Facebook and Twitter too, but I don't really use those for anything other than getting links indexed. So if you tweet me a bunch of shit, I'll probably never see it. So if you want to contact, reach out on the Instagrams or on here directly is the best way to do it. We do these every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Mountain, 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Chris Collins, thank you very much. You are very welcome, sir. This is just my good deed to the world. Trying to help everybody figure out that this ain't that hard, man. And don't worry about anything. Like I always want to remind people, I've been very successful at this. Oh, Chris Collins, 85, I'm a chick. Sorry. That's confusing. Your picture. Oh, you're right. Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't look closely enough. I can see now that you are a lady. I do apologize, Chris. Don't worry about what you think you know or what you need to be doing or learning before. Right? You guys are already all way ahead where I was because I got a job because like everything in the world, the most important part, and especially when it comes to getting jobs, it's who you know. So your time is better spent instead of in front of the screen watching my videos or fucking anybody's videos is to get out there and just go knock on the door. That's the best thing you can do and is without a doubt the fastest way to a job is to go pound the pavement, knock on doors, even if you have no experience and you don't know shit. Yeah, and sorry, Chris, the pictures over here are like super tiny, so I can't really see anything on anybody's. I didn't know anything. First day in walking in the bar, didn't know how to pour. I didn't know any recipes other than like vodka soda, rum, and Coke. Had no idea about anything. Didn't know pour counting, nothing. Knew jack shit. And it's because my friends had worked there. And so because I went in and was there every so often, the managers and the people that call the shots of who gets hired got to know me. And they like me because it's all a personality thing. Like, it's your personality that gets you the job, not your knowledge about this stuff, especially when you're brand new. Right? You know, and you need to have like the basics, but you can just watch a couple videos on here and you'll have the basics down in like a day, really, if you wanted to go at it. So it's just get out there, pound the pavement, get to know the people that can give you a shot, because then when they give you a chance, it doesn't really matter what you know. They'll give you an opportunity to get in and then you'll learn it. And like I said, I didn't know anything when I started. So don't worry about what you think you need to know before you start. Just start now and you'll figure it out as you go. Because that's all I did. You just stumble through it. Because who knows where you'll end up working. You know, if you educate yourself to be a whiskey expert and then you end up working at a Mexican restaurant that has whiskey but you never pour it because everybody drinks tequila, how many hours did you spend becoming an expert in whiskey, which is cool because, you know, maybe you can work at a whiskey bar down the road. But my point is that it didn't help you necessarily get the job. So it's yeah, and Shake, my man, that's why he's always watching social. So if you send a tweet or Facebook message, we will get it. But I'm saying if you want to be sure, the most effective ones are the Instagrams in here. For sure. That's true. Thank you, Shake. My man. Marcel Spencer, you are very welcome. Of course. Bella Queen, thank you. Love you for tuning in. Chris is cool. I need to update my pic. It's all good. I just can't see anybody. I gotta get way down in there to see anything. So I just strictly go off of names. And I have a brother named Chris, so my brain here's Chris, but you're right. I also technically have an aunt named Christina, but she goes by Chris. So I should know better. I really should. Seth Marchese. Is that right? I think I remember that. Quick question. Once in a while, I'll have someone that's quite intoxicated, leaves an outrageous tip like $200. I try to discern whether or not they are in the right mind before accepting, what would you do? Seth, were you here last week asking this question, or is this somebody else? Because we had the same exact question last week. But I swear it was a young lady that asked it. So I'll tell you the same thing that I told her. Take the money and run, my friend. If someone, now, here's the caveat. Now, if you are taking advantage and manipulating them into giving you that tip, then yes, that's some shady shit, and you'll acquire terrible karma for that type of stuff. So you don't want to do that. But if you are just doing your job, someone has a few, and they want to leave you a massive tip, let them pay your rent. No problem at all. You just want to make sure you give them a big thank you. If you're really worried about it, you can look at it and look at them as like, is that right? Are you sure you want to do that? And if they say, yes, absolutely, then like you shake their hand, you thank them for their generosity, and you turn around and you stuff it in the tip jar. The next day when they sober up and they look at their bank account, then they can decide as to whether or not they made a mistake. But that is not our job at that point in time. So call it what you may. That is the way I've operated. And I've had many $100, $200, $300, $500 during the right situations. Long story, but I've had up to $1,200 tips. And usually during track season, I worked right next to a racetrack. So throughout the summer, people would come in after they'd won, and they're tipping everybody as they should. Somebody just won $40,000. They go out with all their friends and they tip the staff that's serving them quite well. So you never know the reason why, even if they're drunk. It's all good. If you're worried about it, you can clarify that that's not a typo and they just meant to give you 20, but there's a 200 on there. Usually you can tell if the math is correct that that is what they intended. So I wouldn't worry about it. That's what I would do. I would look at it. I would ask them, is that right? And if they said yes, I would shake their hand and smile and say, thank you very much. You just made my week. And then there you go. Turn Snocko. Any advice on getting more closing shifts when the managers are a little biased and love the copying and paste scheduling? Yeah, that's where you just got to be kind of the squeaky wheel, Turn. You got to make sure that if the people that are doing the scheduling, if they're the only ones that make the call on that, then it's doing a little bit of massaging your relationship with them and trying to get on their good side in a way that's not just straight brown nosing and ass kissing. I always had success with getting my optimal schedules, which at 2 different times at the one bar, because I had left for a few months at one point, worked my way back to the top, and then at another bar as well. It all came down to me just going as high as you can. So if that's the GM, if that's the owner, you go to them and you talk to them about your intentions and have a good reason why. So maybe without throwing your coworkers under the bus, maybe you can articulate, it's like, hey, I've been really working on, understanding who our locals are at this time. And I think that I could bring some value because I, have cultivated relationships. I want to try to cultivate relationships with them and bring them in more often, and then, continue to grow that. Some way make it about the company and the establishment and how giving you those shifts will be beneficial for the establishment or the bar or restaurant. So that's really kind of what, look at that hat. Man, that is sexy. That's what I would tell you, Turn. And sometimes it just, it just comes down to seniority, and you're just going to have to wait it out depending on the policies of the establishment. So you gotta kind of work within the framework of what the policies of the establishment are, because there are places that it goes by seniority, whoever's been there the longest. So you might just have to wait till someone leaves or gets knocked off by the mob or whatever. No, just kidding. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But shake, tequila or mezcal? Are you asking me? I'm tequila. Although mezcal is growing on me, although it tastes like a leather boot to me, it's growing on me a little bit. Do as kids do, YOLO. Good call, take it. I'll be back, always come back. Dead Mouse Fanatic, sweet. Counting on it. Thanks for stopping by. Marcel Spencer, take the money and run all day long before they change their mind or sober up. Yeah, by the time they figure it out, it's gonna be too late. So, Damien Salonius Morningstar, am I saying that? Salonius Morningstar. Would you have any tips on how to start my own bar or nightclub? Oh man, that's a 2-hour conversation in and of itself. So you are very welcome, Turn. Thank you very much, sir. So Damien, the short answer is that it's just like any other business. So you need to do your due diligence in a lot of its location, and then it's understanding the clientele you want to serve, making sure that they are there to serve. So right, let's say you wanted to open a Vegas nightclub style in the middle of a farm town in Nebraska. Probably not going to go so well, right? And who knows, maybe it would go gangbusters. But my point is that you want to know the area that you're trying to open the establishment. You want to know, are there other establishments like that in the area doing that same thing? Do you want to knock them off? Do you want to try something different? Do you want to stick with what's working? Then you need to write like a business plan. You need to have deep pockets to start because it's extremely expensive. Depending on where you're at, your liquor license is going to be massively expensive. And I'm not trying to poo-poo your goals. It's just that there's a reason that 95% of all bars and restaurants fail. I'm gonna say that again, 95% of all bars and restaurants fail. And that's because they don't do the homework beforehand. And it looks really cool and it looks like a lot of fun. And if you don't, or one of your main business partners doesn't have extensive experience in this industry and really hopefully running the exact same style of establishment, then you really need to find a partner that can do that for you, or pivot to another style or another company, another business altogether. So you just really got to do your homework, Damien. Read a bunch of business books, but read them with a grain of salt. I would say take some business classes. If you are anywhere that has like a JC, take some night classes about business. Got to do your homework all the way through. And then, but if you can get it right, it can work. Okay. And I would potentially think about opening something, having been a manager, a bar manager, a bartender, and all the other jobs that I've done in this industry. There would be very specific parameters in a very specific type that I would ever go into, because other than that, there's a fair amount of luck. The other stuff you gotta look at is like the economics of just the economy of the country and the area that you're in. Is the area growing? Which right now everything's going good, so it seems like a good idea. But if everything, like, look at what happened during 2008, were there places closing left and right during that time? Who survived? Who did well? Why? Cater to those people that did well during those times. So there's a lot of stuff you got to think about. But if you get it right, you can do really well. Okay, we're almost to the end here. Last call for questions, y'all. Almost coming up on the witching hour for everybody. Marcel Spencer, how long is the usual bartending shift, and what's the hourly rate for bartenders? Like, what do we make a month? Marcel, I got a whole video on that. Let's see if Shake can grab that for you before we go. Shake, can you grab that how much bartenders really make video? As with anything, Marcel, again, it depends on where you work. So usual shifts, 4 to 6 hours, I would say. The hourly rate range is usually in the United States anyway, from minimum wage to less than minimum wage, which there's a way that they can get away with that because they supplement your tips to cover the difference in the minimum wage. So you actually work for, you know, $4 or $5 an hour, and then they count your tips as the rest of your hourly rate, which I think is complete bullshit, but happens, I know, in a couple of states. But usually minimum wage is usually what you're looking at. So the minimum wage of the state that you're in. If you're outside of the US, I can't tell you. I have no idea. But it's usually pretty minimum because you're usually working on tips. Now, does that mean you can't get raises and make a little bit more? Yeah, but it's not usually substantially more because again, you're making money from the you're making money from tips. Turn, you're very welcome, sir. Theo Isomono? Theo Isomono? Am I saying that right? Is it possible to make a non-alcoholic mojito? Absolutely. You just don't put the rum in it. You put everything else except the rum. You know, or whatever. Mojito, those ingredients will work with almost any alcohol. So you just put more soda water or whatever you want to substitute. You can make a non-alcoholic anything, really. I mean, I wouldn't say anything. Gonna be kind of hard to make a non-alcoholic dry martini, but hey, you never know. Lucas Worley, I want to be a bartender, but I got a big fear that I won't be good. Live in Vegas, by the way. Well, the good thing, Lucas, is there's a ton of bars for you to start in. Don't worry about the fear thing. There's a ton of videos. Go crawl through all my playlists that I have created on this channel and see what you can find in there. Watch the Bartending 101, watch the Working Bartender, watch the How to Get a Job bartending playlist. Go dig through the playlist on this channel. There's a lot of stuff. And know that fear is just normal. Everybody's got butterflies when they start. And know that it gets real easy real quick and you'll figure it out. So don't worry about it. Damien, you're welcome. Lucas, do you think I should start as barback? I think you should start wherever you can, but don't be afraid to start as a bartender if you get the job offered. The easiest way to become a bartender is get promoted from other positions. So you start as a barback, as a busser, as a bouncer, as a cook, you know, whatever. You start in another position, and then once you show your value and then let them know what your intentions are and keep doing a good job, you'll eventually get a shot. Just might take a little while, just depending on the turnover and how they promote and how often. But you're probably not going to get a shot at like the pool sidebars as your first go around if you don't have any experience. But don't be afraid to get in there and mix it up. So, but bar backing, especially if it's at a busy place like in Vegas, you can make some pretty damn good money. Yes, they do make tips, absolutely. Although I have heard of places that don't tip out their barbacks, they just get paid hourly. But I would think in Vegas, that's a situation where you're going to be making tips for sure. Yeah, don't be afraid to start in a chain. Shake started out Red Lobster. Oh, Damien, don't worry about it, man. I'm the one who can't read your middle name properly. Just the silly white man who's not good at fucking pronouncing names. Marcel, morning start. Someone's been watching Lucifer. I missed the reference there, but that's cool. Colin Powell, your wisdom is helping me kick ass this week. Thanks. Just want to know I have to stay motivated and learn until I get there. I want to be a bartender. See you next Tuesday. Yeah, Colin, you can do it, man. Just have fun. Have fun. Smile. Be a valuable asset to the people that you want to work with or get promoted in. And it's just a matter of time, man. Be a good employee. Be willing to help others in other positions around you. You know, just be a team player and be a positive team player who's reliable, and you'll get whatever you want in this industry. Theo's Mono says, and you can pronounce it however you want. Sweet. Motivation before work. Right on, my man, Colin. You can do it. All right, cool, you guys. We're going to cut it there. Thank you for tuning in this week. This has been another live edition Making You a Bartending Pro. My name is Jason. It's my man Shake there moderating. Remember, we do these every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Mountain, 9 p.m. Central, and 10 p.m. Eastern time. That's United States America time. Gonna be doing these live streams for at least another couple months until I move into my final home that we're getting in town here. Moving my wife up next week. Oh yes, by the way, no live stream next week. I'm going to be moving and packing, and so you guys, I'm sure, are going to be having a lot more fun than I am. But I will send out a message. Shake will send out a message on the social medias. No live stream next week, but we will see you again the week after. So next Tuesday, if you come try to tune in, just go, oh, that's right. Oh, poor son of a bitch. He's packing boxes like a fucking dog right now. So there you go. Thanks for coming in, you guys. Get out there, kick some ass. Remember, the most important thing you can do is to just go knock on doors, drop some resumes, and get out there and shake some hands, get to know the people that can give you a chance, because that's going to be your best bet to get started. Sorry, Dead Mouse Fanatic. You can go back and rewatch some old ones, because there's a lot of good information in a lot of those videos. And until then, you guys take it easy. Have a good week. I love you. Take care. We'll see you again soon. Cheers.